Hello, I'm Dr. Angie McCartney.
And I'm Ruth McCartney.
Welcome to TeaFlix,
where each episode's intimate conversation features a fascinating guest across the spectrum of Beatles world, pop culture, Grammy winners, the music industry, chefs, producers, music stars, actors, and more. So bottoms up and join us as they spill the tea on TeaFlix.
StreamYard is connected again today. Yay! It says we're live.
We are. Jolly good. Hello, folks.
Hello. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah. Are we sure we're all connected?
Yes, we
Okay,
are.
I will just waffle for a few minutes till you all get yourselves settled and get your beverage of choice and log in.
And please note the fall colors today.
Yes.
For our very, very special guests. We sort of dressed in woody guitar colors because you will not believe the two folks we have on, which is 2/3 of the string revolution. Today we're going to have Janet Robin and Markus Illko. Robert Luis couldn't join, but he's got a bigger name on the other line, as they say.
Yeah, probably.
The band, if you haven't heard of them, and you should, is an innovative and dynamic guitar band that pushes the boundaries of traditional music, composed of 3 virtuoso guitarists, and I mean that.
Wow, yeah.
They're renowned for their electrifying performances, blending different genres and styles to create unique and captivating sound. Their intricate melodies, mesmerizing harmonies, and astonishing, truly, guitar skills have earned them a dedicated following and critical acclaim worldwide. In 2023, the band got together to arrange another iconic song. This time it was Folsom Prison Blues. Now, if you look down in Angie's Facebook post underneath this one, you will see the video, which if there are any Narrows voters watching, please, 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 let's get these kids a Grammy. It is just unbelievable. They tapped Grammy-winning producer and Johnny Cash's son, John Carter Cash, to produce the song, and which upon hearing the demo and the idea of the string revolution to just completely reimagine his dad's song as a guitar instrumental, he was excited to be a part of the project. The band then decided to have another special guest again. This time they teamed up with the one and only Grammy-nominated guitarist Tommy Emmanuel, Australia's finest, to join in as a featured guitarist on the new arrangement. The result of this pairing has the guitar and music community praising the combination of these guitar forces and the detailed production. In fact, I just spoke to an old friend, Nico Bolas, who said it was one of the best recordings he's ever heard in his whole life. And he knows from recordings, does Nico. Mixing was done by Grammy nominee Matthew Hyde, and mastering was by Grammy winner Emerson Mancini in LA. So with memorable songs, unique arrangements, and exceptional musicianship, I bring you the String Revolution's Janet, ladies first, and Markus.
Hello.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Hello.
How did you like that for an introduction? Hey?
I love it. I'm doing the Queen's wave.
The royal
Yeah.
thingy. Yeah.
And later on in the podcast, I'll have to focus in on my letter that I got from the Queen.
Oh,
dear.
seriously.
I
Mark-
wrote her.
Oh,
And
you,
they wrote
yes.
me back.
Yes, they do. That's the thing with the Royals. You
I
write
know.
them, they answer
yes.
every fan letter.
Yeah.
And Markus, you're sitting in your studio. Markus is sitting in what looks like a sort of a modern version of the Austrian flag behind you. Did you know that when you
I know. It's a very modern version, which I use for my studio. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
If Warhol reimagined the Austrian flag, there you go.
Right. And of course, a lava lamp, the most important thing in every studio.
Must
Without the lava lamp, we can't do anything.
No, this is the most important thing in every studio.
I can't.
This kitty.
Christmas. Yeah, we've got Butch Cassidy around here somewhere. I don't know where he is today.
Oh,
but-
it'd be lovely.
So look, to your music, folks. I know you previously released your version of Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, which is also just an incredible piece. Was it a conscious plan with Folsom Prison Blues to do another cover tune, or I'll let you take to, did that sort of just happen, or was it after the success of Crazy Train, you're like, let's pick another cover tune?
Well, shall I answer that, Markus?
Yes, Janet, I think please.
So, to answer your question, yeah, kind of, I mean, we obviously write original music. We love our original songs. But Crazy Train got such an amazing response. We were like, maybe we should do another cover and again have a special guest and pick something also iconic, but different, out of typical genre. I mean, we're not really bluegrass, we're not really country. I mean, we do a lot of mixtures, of material. And I had previously worked with John Carter Cash on 2 of my solo records. And I don't know. I just started thinking like we should do a Cash song. And I always loved that song. I wanted to cover it when I was doing like my solo singer-songwriter thing. And I thought, man, we could probably do a really cool version of this instrumentally with guitars. And I should call Don and see if he'd be up for that. It's always tricky, with John Carter to like say, hey, can we cover your dad's song? Hey, hello, can we cover Folsom Prison? Right. I mean, you can cover it. It's out there, but like I really wanted to get his blessing, and I wanted him to be involved, because it's such a personal thing. And I asked him, I said, what do you think? And can we send you the demo? And if you like it, we want to come to you, and we want to do it at Cash Cabin, which is his dad's personal studio, and it's filled with Carter Cash stuff everywhere. And it's so like you walk in there and it's just so magical and
like a museum, right?
It is like a museum.
Like it's better than
that. It's like family. It's like family. Family photos and inspirational and warm.
So and then when you record, of course, the song by Johnny Cash in his own studio with a few more things, this just has the atmosphere is just completely different. You automatically play everything a little bit different. Yeah.
And with respect and honor. We are known for taking covers and completely changing them, which is frankly what you should do if you're going to tackle a cover, any cover, especially an iconic one. You will never make it sound like the original. So why even try? You must creatively look outside the box and just like, okay, where can we take this? But at the same time, you have to keep the soul, right? The soul of the song, especially with an instrumental band that has no vocal, right?
Right. That's difficult. Very
so out came the several bottles of Chardonnay while we were composing, arranging. And the beer for the boys, for Robert and Marcus. And we just put our talents together, and we sent an initial demo to John Carter, and he was like, I love this idea. Nice. I would like to invite you to the studio to come and do it. And
oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow. What's funny to me, having listened to both, obviously, Crazy Train and Folsom Prison Blues, your versions are on my playlist now. It's just like you've kind of created this train vibe. I think you should be like this. Amtrak should sponsor you, because Folsom Prison Blues has that train kind of.
I didn't even put that together. You're completely right.
That's true, actually.
And both videos have trains in them. They both have trains in them.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. We should approach Amtrak and get them to sponsor you.
As a fun fact, I'm at the moment working on the music for the advertising for a train company.
Oh, you are already.
I am.
Wow.
And literally like the last, yesterday, like until 2 a.m. I was finishing it up.
That's
so yeah. So it comes
back. A sign. It really is a sign, I'm sure.
There you
go. Synchronicity.
You got the trifecta of trains.
Well, if you think about the history of blues, which is where all of rock and roll comes from. Let's just make that statement, right? That's a train. Yes. That groove comes from the African Americans sitting by the train tracks in the South. I mean, they're rampant everywhere. Well,
and jumping into the train cars to get from A to B to try and find work in the fields or on farms or whatever. I think they used to call them hobos, which is probably a politically incorrect word now, but that's what it was back then. And if they had a stick bass or a cheap guitar or something, that the train was their drummer, right?
It's true. So well, there you go. We're bringing back train.
So Amtrak, if you're watching,
come on down. Yeah,
That's
I've
amazing.
just thought of a totally different song, which is the locomotion.
Yeah, there you
Remember?
go.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
song by Carole King. Come
Yes.
on, everybody, you can do dun, dun, dun. Come on, baby. I love that song.
Yeah, we can't sing too much of it because of copyright, but hey. So how did, and anybody can take this, how did Tommy Emmanuel get to be part of this picture, make the threesome or foursome for a minute?
Well, with Tommy, once we knew that John Carter Cash is on board, and we had a couple of meetings with him. We were trying to figure out like who we should approach, and we all love Tommy's work.
Oh.
So his name came up so many times, and I said, okay, let's just, and we looked at the schedule, and we saw that Tommy would be not on tour during this time. I said, okay, let's just send it. Let's see what he says. And he said immediately, yeah, love it. I'm coming down there. Let's meet in the studio, right? And that's I think Janet met Tommy before. I've never met him, unfortunately, before. But
that's most of the story. We were a little bit in a time crunch because we had asked, I mean, we love Tommy, but we had asked some other people who weren't available. And it was 2 days before the session, and we're like, we don't need anybody. No, yeah, no.
They can only say no.
That's right.
Right. We asked, and people were on tour. They were busy, whatever. And I was literally in a hotel room in Nashville, and I was like, wait a minute, we're in Nashville. Tommy lives here. And then I had opened for him years ago, and I wasn't sure he would remember me, but he's never home. Never. He's on the road all the time. And I just, the minute I thought of him, I went to his website and I was like, oh my God, he's not on the road right now. Or is he on vacation or what? And I asked the boys, and the boys were like, Tommy, oh my God, he's perfect for this, And so we just had our management call his management, and Tommy was like, wait, John Carter Cash Cabin? He'd never been to Cash Cabin.
But to be honest, I mean, it was not a last minute choice necessarily. We reached out to him last minute, but
right. That's what I meant.
We were talking about him already. Like
we were
the perfect choice, right? So we had like a couple of names, and like, how about to try to figure it out. And I said,
right. No, we had thought of him earlier. It's true. It's just that he's never around.
Never dreamed,
Well, you would never dream that the stars would align, and boom, there he is. And the fact that he would be fascinated by Cash Cabin, having never been, with living in so close to Hendersonville, you would assume that he'd done 1,000 sessions there, right?
Yeah, and he hadn't, and he was really intrigued by the whole thing. And literally, we sent him the demo, but I'm not so sure he even heard it because it was so last minute. He just showed up. And we had done most of our arrangements already, and the parts were down. And he just came in, and he's the maestro. He's amazing. He just sat down, and it was like we're all looking at each other in the control room, like, what just happened? I've never seen such a surprised look on John Carter Cash. Do you remember, Marcus?
Yes, I do remember.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was like,
everyone was looking at each other like, oh, we just witnessing that? Because I mean, you listen to someone and you think, he practiced, but he's such extremely talented and very, very nice person as well. He's just coming in the studio, he's taking it in, and the solo he laid down, and he gave us a couple of different options, right? So he did like a couple of takes. But every single thing was just fantastic. It was just.
It's almost tragic. You don't know what to throw away and what to keep, right?
Well, we ran into that issue, Marcus, and
so when we had the editing session, we were like, we're trying to like figure out what we should not keep, and we want to keep everything. So we were like, maybe we should do different versions of the same. Like maybe have three different things in ideal work, because he's doing a fantastic job, and we were so happy that he's there, and like and of course the entire team together. The result is just something we are very, very proud of. The entire sound. And
Yeah.
of course, the sound additional to that, that we had already, that incredible guest artist. When we're in the studio, so John Gadakesh said, we have a special guitar in our safe as well.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you
Okay.
about that.
We have.
What's what special guitar? Like Johnny Cash's original 1930 Martin guitar.
No.
And he said, "Okay, I have that here. Do you want to play?" It's like, "Do I want to play?"
I want to take it home.
I'm afraid to even. I'm afraid to look at it even. Like I think already, like I break it by looking. So I had it in my hand. It was kind of like I mean, not even talking about the price, because that's something like that is priceless. But the value, the ideological value, but also the instrument was such a good instrument, incredible sound,
so amazing.
So I was holding it and I was like, oh my God, it's like, and he says, just play it, don't worry about it. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's just play it. So I played then Johnny Cash's original 1930 guitar on top of it as well, with some nylon strings. And then I mean, the whole session was incredible, fantastic. And then before we actually were about to finish everything, we were about to leave. The engineer said, "Oh, by the way, yeah, I show you a little bit more." And said, "This is the original guitar, which was used, the electric guitar, which was used at Folsom Prison. In the prison, the video you see from Luther Perkins, the electric guitar, we have it there." I said, "Well." And then
it's a Fender. It's a 1957 Fender Esquire that Luther Perkins, who was Johnny's guitar player, played in the original Folsom Prison Blues recording.
So we already cleaned up. We already had our guitars and like we're ready to head out. And we looked at each other. I was like, "Look, can we record with that?" He said, "Yeah, but it's electric." I said, "It doesn't matter. Let's just put that one." So there's everything is acoustic, but the one little, it's the six signature riff, down 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 down, is the electric. And this is the original guitar, which you can hear in the Folsom. So just adding that on, it's kind of like that was amazing. Incredible experience, and we hope, of course, everyone who listens to it gets that vibe as well.
Yeah. I have to tell you something.
The Holy Grail, right? I mean, going to
that was the Holy Grail. That was, and the engineer Trey Call was so nice enough to reset all the microphones and the amplifier and it was like 9:00 at night. John had left already. He was gone. And so he didn't even know we did that until we told him later. But something very interesting about the session was that John, there's some pictures you can see. John was in the room. We played the track live all at the same time with barely any gobos, meaning barely any separation. And we're like, wait, what?
Bleed all the sound together, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that we thought it's just rehearsing, because we're arriving, we're arriving the day before, we're tired, and then we're all like, oh, okay, let's just try it out. We did the second, and I thought it's just like to figure out the mics. We played it twice, and then he said, "Okay, that's good." I said, "What do you mean with it's good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm tuned right now, and we played it one time through. Well, what's good? That's it.
That's it. We're done. Let's just do some, a few little fixes here and there." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. What about separation of everybody? Us and we do all parts separately."
Right. So but I mean, he just, but at the end, he just knew what he was doing, because we were like playing it. It was fresh, of course, right at the beginning. You could hear the feeling. And we were like, oh my God,
I was panicking. I was like full on anxiety.
So we were like, oh my God, okay, let's go for it. I said, no, that's it. That's the track, I said,
wow.
Okay.
But that's like, we were talking about Nico Bolas before. He's recorded Neil Young for the last 1,000 years. And he said, when I hear Neil's truck pull in the parking lot, I hit record, because you just don't know. When the man's in the building, you don't know what you're going to get. And that is really well-trained engineer, old school engineers, producers.
I don't, we don't think that way, I guess, as artists. We're just like, it's it has to be perfect, and we got to be rehearsed, and this should be ready, and that we're not thinking that way. And I guess that's why you work with producers and engineers that know what they're doing.
Yeah, and then you have professionals like Tommy who show up, they listen, they lay down what you want, and then they say thank you very much, and on to the next thing.
Yeah,
we've
2
been
hours.
We've been lucky enough to see Tommy
Twice.
twice. But the first time we met him was at the home of a former Capitol Records executive. He was doing a charity gig out at his home in Glendale, and this place is like a museum. He's got. He was in the promotions department at Capitol Records, this gentleman, and in his basement, he's got every tchotchke, every promo, every snow globe, baseball cap, giveaway, pen, all the stuff they used to send to the radio stations. And so this thing was there. And the 3 people who agreed to perform for this charity were our client at the time, Richie Sambora, our old friend who was our old friend who was just on TeaFlix a couple of weeks ago, Lawrence Juba from Wings, and Tommy Emmanuel. Right. And so the 3 of them were playing, just riffing on each other's stuff, like completely ad lib. And I've never, knowing Richie and Lawrence, they were just completely gobsmacked that every kind of curve they took or anything they played, Tommy was just looking at them and he was finding his own way of doing stuff on top of it. He's just an absolute genius. Yeah. He's just amazing. Yeah.
And such an unassuming guy too.
Yeah.
He's not a blowhard at all, is he?
No, he's kind of shy, Tommy, actually. It's funny.
Yeah. So he's really sweet.
Yeah. Well, we used to live in Nashville, but we never got to visit the Cash Cabin Studios. I wish we had, but
where is it? Like, is it out in the middle of nowhere, or?
Oh, it is outside of Nashville. It's about, what is it, Marcus? Like 40 minutes away.
Yeah, about 40 minutes. Yeah,
it's in a town called Hendersonville, and it is on the original acreage and land that June and Johnny had together. The original house that Johnny had burned down in a fire.
I know.
And so, but his cabin, which was his hunting cabin,
right, like a hootie in Germany.
Yeah, it didn't burn down, and it originally was just like a hunting cabin, and it's right there next to the new house they built, and that was the studio. So he turned that into a little studio when he did his last record with Rick Rubin, the American Recordings.
Yes.
The one with Hurt and all those amazing songs.
Classic.
And and then during the making of that, they expanded it and added a little on to that original hunting cabin and made more of a control room. And it's but there's still like the old like stove is there, and some of his like road cases are there, and in the vault is not only the guitars but also like old original 2-inch tapes like Walk the Line.
So I mean, the hunting cabin makes of course total sense, because everywhere outside are deer. Everywhere. You just during the recording session, you go outside, it's like, oh, a deer. Okay.
Just gonna say, it reminds me of my husband Martin, who is German, not Austrian, has an incredible rock voice. And we met in Munich, and we both used to record at Red Deer Studios, which was Harold Faltermeyer's place just outside Munich. And he had a cabin as well. And it sounds like a little bit of Bavaria in the middle of Tennessee, actually.
I was like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, I like that isolation. We love LA, of course. I mean, I'm born and raised here, but there is something about taking yourself away out of your comfortable environment and going to somewhere else where it's warm and inviting, inspiring, and isolating.
Right. And I think this is why studios like Caribou Ranch in the 70s were so popular up in Colorado, because people, especially in those days when it was all, sex and drugs and rock and roll, it was nice to just be able to get out and breathe into the crisp air and have creative thoughts and have the leaves crunch under your feet and go for a walk and write a song, right? As opposed to the 101 freeway whipping past you in helicopters.
Right, and dream about Oktoberfest. Now there's a thought.
Of course, there are no sex and drugs in this, just the rock and roll.
Yeah, just the rock and roll. Wine and beer and rock and roll. Maybe that's a new T-shirt. Wine and beer and rock and roll.
I do like that.
That's wild.
So now, Markus, you're Austrian.
I
So
am.
we
Yeah.
have a partner and we have an office in Vienna.
Yeah. I heard. I
you-
think yes, last time.
Ruth will tell you more about it because I
So Raymond Carl and us met up a long time ago, and he runs McCartney Group GmbH, the Austrian company. And we actually wound up managing 5 male tennis players. Don't even ask me how, but it's kind of a lifestyle thing, right? Tennis rackets and guitars kind of look the same.
Yeah. Everyone plays tennis there as well. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
And
right,
so it's weird because I'm like, who's stalking who? Because so you're Austrian living in Playa del Rey. We live in Playa del Rey. We've got an office in Austria.
Yeah. And the German
I didn't want to tell you the stalking thing, but now since you mentioned it, it's out of the box.
Wait,
Sorry.
Markus, do you play tennis? You never told me if you play tennis.
I do play tennis.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course you do.
Of course you do.
He's Austrian. It comes with the package.
Yeah.
I
It's
know.
the full thing. Yeah.
That's right. So how long have you been in Playa del Rey?
I'm now about maybe 9 years, I think,
Oh,
since
gosh.
I
Really?
moved to the US.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
was a while.
definitely
So
have to get together.
yeah, I
Exactly.
lived in some other places before. I used to live in Spain as well, and in Asia for a few months, and then I
Wow.
moved to the US.
So how did you,
yeah.
Markus, how did you get started with which instrument? Has it always been guitar for you, or do you play other instruments?
Well, for me, it was always guitar. Yeah, I just loved it. From I was a huge fan of flamenco, Paco de Lucia. So
Oh, yeah.
when I was like 13, I tried to transcribe the Aranjuez. So I was heavily in Spanish music, and then flamenco. And yeah, I just did that for 10 years. Studied, did all my stuff there, and then I started to write more music as well. So I did a lot of stuff for media, and then I started to write for other people as well. I'm working now with Andrew Tosh, like Peter Tosh's son from Venezuela.
Yeah.
So we're working on a new album there. So just trying to be busy and trying to like do the arranging skills, because once you do music, it's just so much to do. And of course, the good thing is I can use it as well for our arrangements, right? So meaning the skills you learn, you try to imitate other instruments when we do it. So especially with our band, it's kind of like we try to create different sounds, right? It's not just a thing where we go in and it's a guitar, and it's like no, we try to like break as much as we can, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one instrument. Let's make it interesting. And
Yeah.
then, so it should be interesting for arrangement wise. So it's not just, it's never simple things. Maybe sometimes.
Well, sometimes it's simple. Yeah, it just depends, though.
Right. So it really depends on what the song or what the arrangement needs. And then our shows are just, I think of it when we play live, it's just so much more fun. Right. So the live shows, and there's something I just want to mention here, because after COVID, everyone gets so lazy a little bit. So to everyone who can support live concerts, every musician would appreciate.
Please come out, see some live music now.
Because it's a different thing. You can see it, right? You can see it on the video. But it's not the same thing.
No,
right?
absolutely,
So,
100%.
I
Yeah.
wanted to mention that. Yeah.
And Janet, same question to you. Has it always been guitar? And how old were you when you first started? And being a lady guitarist is kind of still, a unique thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 older brothers, and I tried to do everything they did. I tried the sports, I tried the karate, I tried then whatever dance. I sucked at all of it, and I didn't like it. I didn't feel, I don't know. And then my brother started playing guitar, and then my mom was like, oh, I'm going to try guitar. And then I was like, well, if they're doing it, I'm going to try it. And I was 6 when that happened. And I don't know what happened, but like the guitar, they put it in my hands, and I don't know. Yeah, I was like, I felt like it was like a third arm or something.
I was just going to say a 6th finger. Same thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was good at it. you know,
Wow.
I felt it gave me so much self-esteem, you know, and I was trying so hard to do everything my brothers did. You know, I'm the youngest and the only girl. And I was really good at it.
Feeling. I know the feeling.
Yeah. You know,
Like
and
sort of,
I just loved it so much. You know, my parents never had to tell me to practice. And then I got really lucky when I was about 9. You know, around the corner was this amazing guitarist who was also a teacher. That was Randy Rhoads.
Oh, goodness me.
Oh, my goodness.
So, you know, my brother was taking electric. I wanted to switch from acoustic to electric. And so I did. And I started taking from him. And at the time, I was the only girl, you know, that was taking from him. And I was the youngest. And I mean, he could really care less that I was a girl. He really it was just like, you know, practice. Here's the stuff. And, you know, he was so supportive and so inspiring that also helped my self-esteem a lot. Like, I think guitar literally saved my life, you know, like it just, I was obsessed with it, you know. I didn't like Barbie dolls, you know. It was like, what's the next pedal I could get, you know?
No, I had the luck to work a little bit with Randy when I was working for Jet Records. And
nice.
Sharon Osbourne and Ozzy Osbourne and whatever. And Randy always just seemed like to me that I don't know if he ever knew how talented he really was. He was just, he's like Tommy, Emmanuel. He's just so unassuming about
very shy, very quiet, you know. I don't think he even liked being a rock star. I don't think it was into that whole thing. He just was all about the music. And of course, like Markus, you know, he was a classically trained, you know, acoustic guitarist, but I mean, amazing electric guitars. And he just, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have kept playing. And I just kept playing it. You know, it was very clear that was my trajectory. You know, I left college. I went to UCLA and I dropped out. You know, I was, my parents luckily were supportive, and I had a great, you know, run with lots of amazing guitarists, Lindsey Buckingham, you know, Nancy Wilson. I got to work and play with all these people that, again, were supportive. And I really, you know, I never thought of myself as a lady guitarist. Not that that's a bad thing that you said, just that, you know, I'm a guitar player, but, you know, it does stand out that I'm a girl, because sadly, there are not many guitar players who are
not
women.
enough. Not enough of them. Yeah, absolutely.
There's more now than when I was coming up.
That's right.
Sure.
No, that's right.
But frankly, when you hear a recording, can you tell if it's a woman?
I was just going to say, your ears don't know, you know, who's playing it, which brings me to I think your ears do know if it's a what playing it. There is such a difference between, you know, live music recorded live and all this AI nonsense now.
Oh God, I don't even want to get into that.
It's just, you know,
it's very scary.
Unfortunately, I think we're dumbing down the ears of the younger generation. When I was growing up, obviously, you had vinyl and you had a big old hi-fi wooden Bang & Olufsen stereo and speakers taller than me when I was 7.
That's right.
And now you see people consuming, I wouldn't even say enjoying, consuming music on these stupid little white plastic headphones, and the file format's MP3. It just makes me so sad.
You know, you're 100% right. And we're so used to digital sound, that warmth and that, you know, that sort of feeling that you're like in the studio with these musicians. It's not really there. You know, you hear that on vinyl, like in all the Beatles records, all the Zeppelin records. Like I feel like I'm in there with them. And then you look at the vinyl and all the pictures. I would read all the credits and
Oh yes.
So when you crack open a new LP, there's just the smell of that.
Everything. It's all all gone. Yeah, it's all gone.
It's slowly coming back again, right? The vinyl thing.
It is.
People enjoy it. It's always like a up and down with those things, because everyone, like, you have Spotify, but you listen to it in like low quality. Once people hear the difference.
No, so
Tell
you what, Markus, I was wondering. Tell us more about
Robert.
Oh, we missed Robert, or I call him Robert, but Robert. I don't know. How do we pronounce his name, Markus?
Robert.
Robert.
Okay.
Well, Robert.
How did you three meet when he?
So we had a different incarnation of the String Revolution several years back, and one guy had to move back to Europe, and we were actually a 4-piece, and the other guy wanted to produce and not do live music. So Markus and I were like, well, I looked at Markus. I was like, you don't want to just be with me, do you?
No, that's definitely not. So I mean, Janet was looking around at that time, and it was, she came across Robert, and then we were listening to his stuff, and I was like, oh, he does a fantastic job. But of course, you hear everything he's doing. He's extremely talented, right? So he has this. He has this Cuban background, so he knows everything about the music, Cuban music, all the Latin rhythms. So he's bringing that into it. He's able to play electric, like all different guitars as well. And he's just a musician. Let's just call it it. Let's not say he's just a guitarist, because he's a musician. His
ears are wide.
He's able to play a lot of different things with a lot of emotion, and you can just
a lot of different genres. Like, he's an amazing bluegrass. He plays banjo. Who plays banjo in Cuba? I mean, he does.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, he's got this amazing, and of course Tommy Emmanuel was is his idol. So he was just tickled pink, when it happened. But when we were starting to look for another member, I know a lot of musicians out here and great guitar players, and they're all amazing. But true to the string revolution, I thought it was important to find somebody we had never met, seen, or worked with before. And there's only one way to really do that. You go on classified ads.
Ooh, interesting.
Wow. On the internet.
A bit like internet dating, isn't it?
Internet dating.
Kind of
like that. And I was literally going to close down the next page when I was like, oh, nobody's out there, And then Robert's little picture came up. He had no website. He had just moved here. All he had was an Instagram page with like 2 videos and like 1 follower. And I went to.
But we were listening to other people as well at the time. It just stood out what he did. So we invited him then to come over, and then we played, and it was just a very organic thing, like we played. Yeah. He checked those things out we did before, and it just worked. We both looked at each other, like Jenna and myself, and said, that's it. That works.
Well, the most important thing was that he could put up with me, so that was important.
Yeah, that's the most. So I had to train him. I had to tell him what to say and what not to say around Janet,
and how to work a corkscrew.
Yeah, corkscrew, and like which psychotherapist to take after our rehearsals. That's the most important thing. So it needs to be a very good psychotherapist, because not anyone can take.
He's amazing, and we're sorry he couldn't be here. He's just says he's a busy guy. He's got a family, and but he sends his regards.
Oh, absolutely. And when people listen to Folsom Prison Blues or anything on thestringrevolution.com, of course, they will hear his work on your latest recording. So you've submitted in 2 Grammy categories this year. How on earth do you choose which categories to throw your hat in the ring? And, obviously it's limited. You're not going to go into best vocal because you're an instrumental band. But for people who don't know the Grammy categories and how many people vote in what, it's kind of an arcane process, isn't it?
Yeah. So there are lots of categories, and those categories change every year as well, right? So it's actually, it's kind of tricky. It takes for us a while as well to figure out what makes most sense. But at the end, it boiled down that we just said, okay, it is an arrangement of a fantastic singer, songwriter, and like
iconic song.
Where should we put it? So since we are instrumental, and it is an arrangement, we thought, okay, we would put it in best arrangement, instrumental, and vocals, and then we have a second category as well. Janet,
because it's also an iconic American sort of American roots song. I mean, it doesn't get much more rooted in American music than than Folsom Prison Blues. So yeah, we are in 2. Typically with Grammys, you focus on 1. However, the best arrangement and composing categories can be sometimes limiting because people don't always vote in that category. So we are in best arrangement, instrumental or a cappella, and then we are also in best American Roots performance category.
Makes sense.
So it is a performance of an iconic song. Sure, no vocal, but and so far, I mean, we're getting great responses. Some people are like, we can't vote in the arrangement. We're going to vote for you because in the American Performing Roots category is also blues, traditional blues, contemporary blues, Americana performance, bluegrass. It's all in that field. So if you vote in that field, then you can vote for American Roots. If you vote in arranging, composing, arrangement, best arranging vocals, composition, instrumental composition, best instrumental album, then you can vote in our category in that field.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't know, I think, from a music fan perspective, that's how we met through fyconline.com, our portal, for your consideration. A lot of music fans don't know that, the Grammys come on TV and it's a big splashy night and great. But I think they think that everybody who is in the audience gets an unlimited number of votes. In some categories, there's only you only get 15 votes across different categories, right? So it really is the best of the best at the end of the night, because it's
true. They really limit your voting ability because they want to make sure you're voting in categories that you're an expert in.
Expertise, sure, and that absolutely
makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely makes sense.
And by the way, people also don't know that there is a ceremony before the big ceremony, the one that's televised, and that's the one that we're going for. That there's a whole 3-hour ceremony before the other 3-hour ceremony.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that was our
music. Incredible musicians, incredible music, and in the ceremony, nobody even sees on TV. Fortunately, they have an online version as well, right? So
you can stream it.
Yeah, you can. And last year, in fact, it was the pre-telecast, pre-primetime telecast that our client Edgar Winter, who's been with McCartney Multimedia 26 years, I think now.
Ross Hogarth.
And Ross Hogarth won their blues for Brother Johnny. And fortunately, we were able to get the footage from the feed and the stream and what have you. But there is a lot of great music going on before that 5 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern curtain goes up. So if you can next year, folks, if you're a real music fan, find it online and stream it, because so many people
it's just at Grammy.com or something on YouTube. I think it starts at 11, PT time. But shout out to Ross Hogarth, because
yes,
I love him and I worked with him many years ago, but he just loves you guys. Oh my God, he loves you guys.
Well, and back at him, he's a lovely, lovely, talented chap, and I was so glad to see him. And with a great amount of help that from Go Kerry Go and all her team, Kerry Gogan's team over there, who does incredible work, just supporting.
Thank you, Kerry.
Great music. Absolutely.
Well, she introduced me to you too, I think, right? Or it was like
no, I think I think we found each other on
Kerry. Yeah,
I introduced you to Kerry. Yeah, we found each other on a Grammy Facebook group, I think.
Yeah. So what's next for the string revolution?
That's a really good question.
Once you win your Grammy, what's next?
You trundle all your Grammys home in a wheelbarrow.
We will play tennis. That's the first and most important thing.
We just played this really cool event yesterday morning, and we debuted a new song, an original song. So we've been writing. We just got back from playing the Alaska State Fair. We had 10 shows there, which was amazing. It was really cool to be in Alaska, and we were able to work on our new songs there. We're thinking about the next cover. We'd like to do another cover. Correct? Is that correct, Markus? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but first we want to do more originals at the moment, so we'll record that. And then introduced some more instruments. I brought some instruments from Peru, charango, rondroco, all those things.
Show them the charango. Is it close by? So our new song has this charango. I can't pronounce it, but it's amazing. We played it yesterday morning at this composer's breakfast.
Right.
And that's our, we've got 2 new songs on board ready to record. And so we're going to be doing that soon. We've got a couple shows coming up. We have a special event at the Grammy Museum October 7th. And then 2 shows in Torrance near you guys at the George Nakano Theater in Torrance Performing Arts Center on October 13th and 14th.
Right. So a couple of things. So this is the charango.
Wow, that's beautiful. How many strings is that? 10?
It has 10 strings. It's completely different tuning than every other instrument, but it's just so beautiful if you do.
Oh, it's so cool. I love this.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's
So we're introducing some new stuff
from
Peru, right? You bought it in Peru, right?
I bought this one in Peru. I bought this I bought it about 1 hour away from Machu Picchu, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
wow.
So a little bit of a story. And then this instrument has actually fun story. There are like 2 holes in there.
I can see, yeah.
And I was like, what are those holes for? What? And my Austrian mind is like, oh, there must be something practical, right? So it must be something maybe you put your strap in there and something. I mean, it must make sense, right? So the story is that it's about a spirit. It's about a ghost who lives in the river. And this ghost is kind of like an animal and has just 2 fingers. And he's grabbing into that he's actually hitting that instrument, and it's kind of a spiritual and spiritual thing, And I was like, oh, holy, that's something completely different. I was like, my Austrian mind, my normally just tennis playing mind was like, oh, there must be something logical. But this instrument is just and there's all that story and the sound is just fantastic. So we'll go into that different road.
I thought you were going to say it was for putting your cigarette in while you're busking.
Yeah, that would be practical. That would be very practical.
That's my Liverpool mind.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
That is absolutely wild. So, kids, you can find out much more about these lovely folks and their just incredible music at thestringrevolution.com. And if this should reach the eyes and ears of any NARAS voters in these categories, click on their FYC button and you'll see it all encapsulated all in one place. And it's the hopeful nomination this year is for Folsom Prison Blues with the String Revolution featuring Tommy Emmanuel. Produced by John Carter Cash, Johnny and June Cash's son at the Cash Cabin in Hendersonville, Tennessee. So vote. And nobody gets out of here alive without a special limerick from Angie and I.
We've got the goal.
Yeah.
I nearly said the balls, but I didn't.
You can say balls.
You can say balls.
Can I? We've got the balls to actually do a little piece of rhyming for you wonderful composers.
And this printed out the limerick. So I'm going to have to do a little shenanigans here with this.
Fine.
All right. So we usually get it wrong the first time. So you might have to hear it twice. And Paul Moody, if you're watching, this one's for you too. So
this is not Grammy nominated, by the
no,
way.
not ever likely to be.
Not for spoken word.
There's no limerick category.
No.
So maybe we should make one.
Oh.
And
Okay.
a 1, 2, 3. We'd like to thank Markus and Janet. They're amongst the best folks on the planet. When it comes to guitar, their group gets a gold star. And we pray for a Grammy. Let's plan it.
Ta-da!
Whoa!
Wow. No, seriously, I'm not being silly. That's just that's amazing. Thank you. You guys
I
are
had no idea.
Thank you guys for making
I'm so glad I met you, and so glad to meet you, Doctor. And my brother was like, she does CBD stuff. What's her? He's got some pains and stuff. He wants to buy all your CBD products, and so he's been researching.
You can find him. Our friend Sammy. our friend Sammy is commenting in from Atlanta. She's runs the Edgar Winter social team, and she says
Nice.
this is just what she needed this week. She's been a little down and out this week. So this is the power of music and communication and laughter.
absolutely.
And we
Yeah.
can't thank you
Amazing.
enough.
And it's
Thank
been an
you.
honor to be on your podcast. It's so fun too.
Oh, don't be silly.
Yeah. Well, thank
It's
you so
our
much. It was a
Yeah,
blast.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Martin
thank you
will
for
put
your
all of this up on
support.
YouTube in about an hour.
Yep.
So you
You'll
can go
be
there.
on the
and-
Tube of the U,
Yeah.
and we'll send everybody over there. So
Yeah.
thanks so much for taking the time. Find these wonderful kids at thestringrevolution.com and go on, stream it if you will, but buy it. They'll make more money. Don't rent your music, pay for it.
Spotify. Or actually,
On that
buy it on
happy
Apple
note,
Music.
On that happy note,
We'll say farewell.
farewell und auf Wiedersehen und tschüss and servus. And
Tschüss.
bis später. Thanks for playing. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
kids.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much for having us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to TeaFlix, and check out Dr. Angie's books, Organic Teas and CBD, at mrsmccartneysteas.com. Toodle pip!